Saints kind of hit a wall offensively after that big fourth inning, and so it's good to see them get a big base hit like that after a potential rally that they were able to stop in this last inning.
So Rosales goes into the set. The lefty brings it home, and he sends a changeup to the bottom half of the zone at no balls and 1 strike, 1 gone. Wind swirling its way around the facility. Next delivery, that ball gets away for a second. McKenzie down to third. So this is what Arroyo Seco needed. As you said, it looks like they hit a wall. They haven't been able to manufacture base runners since that big fourth inning. But now they have a runner 90 feet away from bringing in an insurance run and making it a 3-run lead. Down the right field line and into the bullpen. Peterson not able to keep it fair by 10 feet.
Rosales has worked 2 1/3 innings so far on the season for the Academy Barons, giving up 6 earned runs thus far. See if the Saints can push across the 7th one right here.
And Peterson swings and misses. So Rosales' stuff has been good in this inning. He's got 2 outs, both of them via the strikeout. And we'll see whether or not Colin Shepard can keep this inning alive.
Now batting the third baseman, number 4, Colin Shepard.
Jack Smith would be up next. This is bunted in the air. Rosales, way too easy for him to get over to it and make the catch. That's going to do it for the inning. Unfortunately for Saints fans, the Arroyo Seco Saints end up stranding a runner over at third, and they do not cash in on the 1-out ground rule double. Our score stays at 6-4. It's a 2-run lead for the Saints. So Reed Osborne, as you heard in the background, is going to enter now to pitch for Arroyo Seco. And getting some more information on him is Anthony, as we go through a quick recap of what we have seen through the top half of the first that Arroyo Seco scored. And it would stay a 1-0 game until we got to the third, in which Arroyo Seco added another run on the board. They would explode in the fourth with 4 across to make it 6-0 Arroyo Seco. But unfortunately, that's where the runs would stop for the Saints. And then afterwards, 7 for the Barons. And they are now catching up to Arroyo Seco, down by just 2. And Anthony for Reed Osborne. He has had a couple of opportunities to pitch so far.
Yeah, he's gone 8 1/3 innings so far this year and really been one of the most reliable pitchers we've seen for the Saints thus far. They've given up 3 runs so far on the season, so pretty solid start to the season for him. And I mean, you know, we've played some pretty tough lineups here that have really done a lot of damage to the ERAs of some of these Saints pitchers. So good to see Reed Osborne have such a good start to this season.
So Osborne delivers the first very quickly, 3-0. When you look at Reed, the one thing for him is the fact that he has. The question is whether or not it goes inside the strike zone. 3-ball, no strike count. Next delivery, that is inside. So a 4-pitch walk to start off the inning. Adam Sendejas will run down to first, and Coach Buehler is very quickly out of the dugout. So we'll see whether or not he decides that that is it for Reed Osborne. A lot of guys being transitioned in for different innings pitched caps that are given to players when they go and play summer ball. And then other times, as we were talking with Blake Beers, there are just moments where the normal regular season team says, hey, if you go play summer ball, we want you to get as many innings in as possible. That was the case with Blake. And Coach Buehler is going to head back to the dugout. So for Reed Osborne, he's going to still have a chance on the mound. But he's just not going to be able to afford many more.
It's the best case scenario for these guys when they come play summer ball. You want to be able to take as much as you can out of these experiences as a player in summer ball, so it's good to see them make the most of that.
No balls, 1 strike, nobody out. Our score is 6-4. It's a 2-run lead for the Arroyo Seco Saints. 4 runs, 11 hits, and 1 error. To the Barons, 6 runs, 10 hits, no errors for the Saints. That bounces home outside half. Bennett McCaskill will have to go and make sure that he recovers the ball. Runner over at first is Sendejas. Trevor Matson now at the dish. Right-handed batter, and he sends this one down to third. Colin Shepard over to second. Gabe Chavez relayed up first. Is it in time? It is not. And Matson is able to beat it out. Cooper Williams tried to go with the stretch, just wasn't able to get the call. And it will go down as a fielder's choice over at second.
Going back to Bennett McCaskill there, making that play just a moment ago, blocking that ball. It's very important point of emphasis for this team right now. Over the course of the weekend in Santa Barbara, that was kind of one of the tough points for them, was that they ended up letting a lot of pass balls behind them. And really, you know, I mean, it all adds up, and it resulted in a lot of, you know, bases given up, and in some cases, you know, some runs given up that really, you know, impacted the game when you look at the final score.
1 ball and no strikes. Matson over at first. Jumping off for his lead as this is sent into center. Jack Smith will pick it up. He'll make the side catch for the out. So Smith continues to add to his resume this afternoon. And now he's really creeping up on possible player of the game status.
I'd say so.
We've already seen him score 2 runs. Basically manufacture those runs.
Yep.
Not just score them, but manufacture them, all with his hard work. 2 stolen bases as well. Also had an RBI too.
Yeah, and when you look at how close this game has ended up being, you realize how important that stuff is. Because, I mean, it came at a point in the game where, you know, the Saints ended up, you know, eventually piling on runs and taking a big lead. But now it's just a 2-run game. And if he hadn't done any of that, we'd be looking at possibly a tie ball game or a 1-run game right now. So it all has had its impact today due to the big plays that he's made defensively and offensively, as you said, manufacturing runs.
Delivery from Osborne, and a swing and a miss is given by Anderson. 1 ball, 1 strike, 2 out, bottom 8. Arroyo Seco, oh so close to making sure that they lock up win number 4. And that's in league, of course. As a swing and a miss by Anderson makes it 1-2. It'd be win number 5 overall if they're able to get there, and they'd also tie overall record with the Barons. Tomorrow afternoon, 6:05 start. That'll be live from Jackie Robinson Field. Inside half that Anderson has to scoot away from. Two balls, two strikes, two gone. Much too high for Anderson's liking. And it's now a full count at 3-2. So Madsen's going to be off on the pitch as Anderson digs in once more. Next up, and Anderson fouls it off. There goes Madsen. He'll have to retreat. Banuelos will retrieve the ball as well. It stays at 3-2. 2 outs, bottom 8. Still 2-run lead for Arroyo Seco. They're trying to keep it that way. Reed Osborne on the mound. Taking a look as Anderson, the left-handed batter, is trying to get on base once more. That's well outside, so he will do so. He'll move up to first as he has a walk, and Joshua Banuelos will come up next. And Coach Buehler is going to go back out to the mound. And normally, if a manager goes out or a coach goes out to check on his pitcher 2 times in an inning, that's the sign that there's going to be a change on the rubber. And we will see whether or not that is the case, as Reed Osborne will get the baseball taken away from him, and we'll have a new pitcher coming in just a moment. So our score is 6-4. Arroyo Seco continues with their 2-run lead over the Barons. We're in the bottom half of the 8th inning. This is Arroyo Seco baseball. We're going to step aside in just a minute to make sure that we have the correct pitcher coming onto the mound. It's a 2-run lead for the Saints. Another pitcher is in for Arroyo Seco and the Arroyo Seco Saints. And Anthony has the details and info on who it is.
Yeah, it's going to be right-handed pitcher Joey Steele out of University of San Francisco. He's been very reliable for the Saints so far this season. 8 1/3 innings, a 2.16 ERA. Really off to a good start, and we've seen him do great in these late inning situations.
Banuelos takes the first pitch and fouls it off to the right-hand side. And, you know, for the most part, we have seen some players here for Arroyo Seco and the Barons as well that have, or that go to universities that have just some San Francisco. You're overlooking the bay. You have the opportunity to for Ann Arbor. No balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Dartmouth, if I'm not mistaken, in that.
New Hampshire?
You are correct.
Okay.
Dartmouth is in that New England area, not New York area. I'll get killed for that if someone hears that. No balls, 2 strikes, and 2 outs. Over at second is Madsen. Over at first is Anderson. At the dish is Joshua Banuelos. He's trying to get on, keep this inning alive. Runner on second. Keeps creeping up. That's Madsen. And Steele to the plate, and Banuelos just trying to fight to stay alive. You also look at guys who are on these teams out of San Luis Obispo. That's a nice view as well.
Yeah.
Right off the coast. John Thomas out of USC. You're looking right at downtown Los Angeles. Shrine Auditorium nearby. Coliseum is there as well. Bank of California Stadium. Brand new built. As Joshua Banuelos will swing and miss, and Steele comes in and does his job to get out of the inning with no runs coming across for the Barons. Our score is 6-4. It remains a 2-run lead for Arroyo Seco. Jack Smith is going to lead things off here in the top half of the 9th inning. And for Arroyo Seco, they continue. Our score is 6-4. 2-run lead for the Saints, and it has been that way since the bottom half. The MLB Barons. The Academy Barons have Kyle Sally. They actually just brought a guy down. So it's just Sally who's warming up now. 2 strikes. So we'll see what he's able to do here in this final at-bat. This afternoon, at least Arroyo Seco is hoping that it is, and he sends this one over to second. Banuelos has to quickly fire over to first, and Jack Smith Almost lugged down to another single, this time just as a routine grounder to second. Cali.
Now batting the shortstop.
For the Academy Barons, that's Ryan Zapata on the mound now. Right-handed pitcher. Pitched 1 inning so far this season for the MLB Academy Barons. So this is his 2nd inning of work now.
Cali brings it home, or sees the pitch brought to home, and that goes too high. 1 ball, no strikes, 1 out. Everybody watching on as Arroyo Seco clings to this 2-run lead. Next up would be Gabe Chavez as this is grounded high over to first, and Sendejas. So Sendejas is able to get that ball, run it over to first, and it ends up being a solo grounder to first.
Over at first base to make that out.
Chris Keach is now over in the left-hand bullpen. This one is grounded over to short, and Bruce Martin is able to make the backhanded throw of 2 pitches combined. We're going to go to the bottom half of the 9th. Arroyo Seco trying to close the door on a 2-run. Bottom 9. This is it, Anthony. If Arroyo Seco is able to hold on to their current lead, then they will finish with a 5-10 record coming out of this game. John Thomas very deep in right, as is Jack Smith in center, and Brendan McKenzie in left. Next up for Ouellet. And he fouls it off to the left-hand side and well out of play. So Ouellet, Harris, and Bates, those are the 3 due up for the Barons.
And to no surprise, right-hander Joey Steele stays on the mound for the Saints to try and close this one out here in the 9th.
And immediately got Joshua Banuelos to strike out to first, and there's 1 gone. Looked like Bates was actually walking up to the batter's box. Took a couple extra steps to see whether he was going to be. He comes up to him and says he'll take his hacks, and actually it'll be singular, just 1 hack as he's. And you and I saw him in center field take a double.
Now batting the right fielder, number 24.
But when you have a 2-run lead, get that one. He represents the final opportunity. No balls, 1 strike. Steele on the mound, trying to close the door on a 4-out save. Now the Barons are down to their final strike. Zeros across the board for Arroyo Seco, runs-wise, since the 5th inning. But if Steele can get this strike, it doesn't even matter. Next delivery, swing and a miss by Bates, and that's going to do it for the game. Arroyo Seco with the victory as Bates ends up swinging and missing, and that'll be it. The Arroyo Seco Saints will move up to 5-10 overall. They go to 5 in the standings, and they will equal themselves with the MLB Academy Barons. So, Anthony, Arroyo Seco gets on the board early, and here across you said, look, while that run does come across, and it's nice to see that run come across, it's huge because Arroyo Seco has been on a little bit of a stumble as of late since the season began. So getting those early inning runs is going to be crucial in this game for their confidence. And wouldn't you know it, it's the first 2 runs on the board in the first and third innings that come across as the game winner.
Yeah, you know, kind of unexpectedly, they hit a wall after the 4th inning. They was just, you know, looking for the Saints. So really good to see them jump on the board early here to make their mark on this game and get the win in a game that ended up being a lot closer than I think a lot of us thought it could have been.
So our final score, once again, a 6-4 victory for the Arroyo Seco Saints. They improved CCL play. Next game will be tomorrow night at Jackie Robinson Field at 6:05 p.m. Please do tune in, as there's a lot of quality baseball to be played here in the schedule. Tune in also, 6:05. Next time I'll be on the broadcast, 6:05 on Saturday afternoon. But once again, a 6-4 win for Arroyo Seco. And Anthony, you look at the way that Arroyo Seco battled in this game. Sure, they brought in a lot of pitchers, but each one of those guys that came out, they competed. Though they did give up a couple more runs, it's like Blake Beers was telling us. It's all about getting repetitions in and pitching as much as possible in game situations during the summer.
Absolutely, and I think a lot of credit deserves to go to these pitchers here in these final few innings of this game because, man, did they have a lot of people on the bases in the final 3 innings. And then you look at, you know, the runs scored. They ended up pushing across 1 run over the course of those whole 3 innings, and they probably had about a total of 5 or 6 base runners during that time. So they really minimized the damage that could have been done in those innings.
So our final score, 6-4. Even the crowd is excited about Arroyo Seco coming away with a victory, and it ends up 6-4, a 2-run win for the Arroyo Seco Saints as they come across with 6 runs on 10 hits, no errors. And for the Barons, they go 4 runs, 11 hits, and 1 error altogether. Arroyo Seco, 5-10, 5-8 overall in league play, where you will see you tomorrow afternoon right here, same place here on YouTube. You can just tune in by going to the search bar and typing in Arroyo Seco Baseball. For those of you who have already found it and tuned in, we thank you for joining us here from Compton, where our final score was 6-4 in favor of the Arroyo Seco Saints. For Anthony Alejandres, I am Ron Osborne. This has been Arroyo Seco Baseball.